Hello Amy, my name is Lupe Zapata. I recently met you at the UNT job fair and was really excited for the job opportunity with pick flips. Out of all of the job opportunities I encountered that day, yours stood out to me the most and was the one that I was most excited about applying for. I'm making you this video in hopes of being a little more personal and to give you a break from reading just another typed application. I'm hoping that this gives a better insight as to who I am as a person. I've always been able to express myself best speaking face to face, so I'm hoping that this video gives you an idea as to why I feel I would be the best pick for pick flips. I'm a 25-year-old junior student studying radio, television, and film at the University of North Texas. I live in Denton, just 2 blocks away from the UNT campus, but my home is where my family is, in Victoria, Texas, where I was born and raised. I have a current Texas driver's license and a reliable car. It's been about 2.5 years since my last traffic violation or ticket, and recently got into a car accident that involved me rear-ending a car that suddenly stopped in front of me. But before that, it was about 2 years before my last car accident where I was to blame. I've never been arrested and have no criminal record at all. Every job that I have ever had, from my very first job working as a receptionist at my church, required me working with the public, speaking to people face to face, especially my last job at the San Antonio Zoo, where I was leading tours and answering questions that the public had about the different animals at the different exhibits. I feel that professional and personable customer service is actually extremely important in any job, in any company, and I feel it actually determines the longevity of how long the company will last, depending on how good the customer service is. I feel that my customer service is at its very highest. I went through customer service training working for the Walt Disney World Company and was taught how to treat a customer with the utmost customer service, doing whatever you needed to in your means to make the customer happy. I've always felt that the best quality of any leader is that leader knowing when it's best to follow. I feel that I've been taught to be a good leader in my teaching experience. When I stepped back and actually allowed my students to teach me was when I learned the most. So I think the best kind of leader is somebody who knows when they need to lead and when they need to follow. I received my first personal computer when I was in the 6th grade, and ever since there has been a very short period of time where I haven't used a computer. I use a computer in my everyday life, and I feel that I'm pretty proficient in knowing how to use a computer and how to work one. I wanted to answer this next question as honestly as possible, so I couldn't think of a better way of answering this question of 5 words that would describe me than to ask my friends themselves. So I posted a picture of your application on my Facebook, and I asked my friends to answer the question for me. So these are some of the more honorable answers that I got. My current availability is Monday, Wednesday, Friday, anytime after 12 o'clock noon, and Tuesdays and Thursdays anytime after 4 p.m. As far as weekends go, I have a completely open schedule right now. I am without employment, so my weekend schedule is pretty open as of now. And as far as traveling, I would be more than willing to travel if you guys needed me to. I have no problem with traveling, and like I said, I have a car that is really reliable, so I could travel if needed. My most previous job was working at the San Antonio Zoo, where I led zoo tours. I was an informal educator where I led public animal presentations. I worked as a preschool teacher there at the zoo, and I also facilitated the birthday parties as a birthday party coordinator. Before that, I worked at Pat Neff Middle School, where I led an after-school theater program. I taught theater to kids for an after-school program, and I later wrote and directed my first play ever. Before that, I worked at the Magic Time Machine restaurant, which is a themed restaurant in San Antonio where all of your servers dress as your favorite childhood characters. The two characters that I embodied were Disney's Aladdin and Nickelodeon's Go Diego Go. So in that job, I got to entertain and serve and get tipped all at the same time. That was a really fun job. Before that, I worked at Walt Disney World on the world-famous Jungle Cruise attraction. On this ride, I would take anywhere from 10 to 40 people on a guided tour on a boat through the jungles of the world, and the ride was anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes long, depending on the cycle of the ride, and it was the funnest job that I've ever had. I love YouTubing and vlogging, so what I've done is I have attached links to all of the jobs that I've had, or the past 4 jobs actually. They're just videos, I guess, giving you a better example of what I did at those jobs. They're videos that I made or that were taken of me while I worked at those jobs, so I've attached them if you would like to see what my most previous jobs were. My plans for the future require me to finish college, so I will be done with my bachelor's degree in radio, television, and film in 2 years, and after that I would like to start interning and applying at news stations to either be an editor or in front of the camera as a news anchor. That's something that I've always been intrigued by, and that's something that I would really like to accomplish. In talking about my biggest personal flaw, it's definitely not something that I want to talk about when applying for a job, but because you asked, I will be 100% honest. My biggest flaw would probably have to be punctuality. Growing up, we were always the family that was last to a family event, or we'd be walking in at the last minute at church. So as an adult, it's taken me a little bit of a while to be punctual and to arrive on time, but with modern technology such as the iPhone that can remind me, I'm constantly having to remind myself to be at a place on time and to leave early to allot myself enough time. But that's definitely something that I struggle with and that I'm constantly working at because I do want to be punctual. But that would probably have to be my biggest flaw. Not something I want to tell somebody when I'm applying for a job, but you asked. One of the craziest work stories I have is when I worked at Walt Disney World working on the world-famous Jungle Cruise ride. There would be different times when one of the boats would break down, and it would take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes at the very most. And on this particular hot day in June, I had a full boat of about 40 people, and the boat in front of me broke down, and I had to sit with my entire boat in the hot sun for 45 minutes until the boat in front of me was actually towed back to the entrance of the attraction. So I had to wait with a full boat for 40 minutes and entertain them. So what I basically had everybody do is everybody on the boat told me their favorite Disney character and why that was their favorite Disney character, and then I later had everybody do the original Mickey Mouse Club Mouseketeer turn and wave entrance while saying their names. It was the most funny and awkwardest 45 minutes I think ever working at a job was when the boat broke down on the Jungle Cruise. If I were a superhero, I think my superhero name would be Comet, because comets go through the sky really fast, and within a blink of an eye they're gone. And my superpower would be to teleport. So I could teleport myself anywhere in the world in the blink of an eye. So I could have breakfast in China, lunch in Australia, and dinner in Denton, Texas. And that would be my superpower, would be to teleport anywhere in the world in the blink of an eye. I hope this video has given a better insight as to who I am as a person. I started filling out all of the questions and I was just going to send them to you in a Word document, but I realized that in order to stand out, I would have to do something a little bit more special. The job opportunity with PickFlips is something that I'm really interested in, and I thought it sounded really cool, so I wanted to do all I could to impress you guys. I hope that this has worked in giving you a better example of who I am as a person. Thank you for watching, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.